About 6 years ago, my wife Gemma and I found ourselves on quite a faith journey. It was an exciting time. I remember being in a church service and I felt like God said to me, Shane, put $100 extra in the offering this week. And so I did. And I remember then, a couple of weeks later, God pouring back into our lives. We ended up getting about $500 back. Shortly after that, we found ourselves in another church service, and I felt like God said to us, Shane, empty your wallet. And I remember having about $230 in my wallet, and I did. And then about a month later, we ended up receiving about $3,000. We found ourselves on this mysterious journey where at the end of it, we actually felt like God said, Shane, I want you to give your car away. And of course, Gemma and I spent some time praying about that and seeking wise counsel about that and continuing to read the scriptures. And at the end of the day, we have come to understand that God loves us. And because of his love, we love him. And so we want to obey him. This morning from John 14, verse 15, Jesus says these simple words. If you love me, keep my commands. Gemma and I realized that if God was asking us to do something, we had to obey. It could not be that God was God in name only, but that he really was our God, our master. And so we decided to go ahead and do what we felt like God was saying. The idea of obedience to God is actually something that in modern times is often considered, should we really be obedient to God? And I think that this actually comes from an ancient Greek view of the gods, a view where the gods were actually quite maniacal. They would sometimes do something which was good for us and sometimes they wouldn't. So could we really trust them? And because of that, we've actually found ourselves in a place where we actually say, well, God, I'll do what you want me to do if it suits me, if I think it actually really will do something good for me. But in following Jesus, we've got to start scrapping that view of God. Jesus has proven over and over that he is not that God. He is not the ancient Greek God that we see in movies. He always works for our good, even when we can't see it. We continue to read in verse 19. Jesus says, because I live, you also will live. Jesus regularly teaches that the life he offers is not just a subsistence, but a full life, abundant life, a great life, beautiful life. And I must say that when Gemma and I have lived on the edge of that faith cliff, when we gave away money or when we gave away car, gave up a job or even moved interstate because we believed that God was calling us, we have experienced life that is incredibly invigorating. My prayer and hope for us this week, Lakeside, is that our God, who always gives life, who has loved us first, would this week ask us to do something out of the ordinary. And further, that because we love our God who first loved us, that we would listen and obey. Love speaks.